Hi there, my name is Thomas and I'll be presenting this late-written work, Ethical User Interfaces, Exploring the Effects of Dark Patterns on Facebook. This work was a collaborative effort done with Gian-Luca Savino, with whom I worked closely together at the University of Bremen in Germany. The phenomenon of social media and social networking sites in general has been the focus of many research disciplines for some time now. And while some argue that SNS bring people from all over the world closer together, others warn about negative effects that may decrease their well-being. Last year's Netflix documentary, The Social Dilemma, has further increased awareness on issues that are related to people's mental well-being. We as SIGCHI researchers have the tools to understand how users interact with interfaces, for example, social media. Through this lens, we identify dark patterns as one of the possible places where HCI and the concerns around users' well-being meet. But what are dark patterns? On his website, Mildner, who coined the term, defines them as tricks used in websites and apps that make you do things that you did not mean to, like buying or signing up for something. Building on this idea, Gray et al. Have published a work in which they developed taxonomy to distinguish between specific design practices defining dark patterns as instances where designers use the knowledge of human behavior and the desires of end users to implement deceptive functionality that is not in the user's best interest. To explore whether dark patterns are actually used on social media platforms, and if so, for what purpose, we chose to investigate Facebook as it is still the most popular social media. Using Gray's et al. Taxonomy, we started our work by comparing Facebook's interface when it first launched till its most recent update. We used a manual web crawl to find screenshots, which we then validated for accuracy. This was done by two HCI experts, namely the authors of this paper. This diagram visualizes Facebook's interface changes throughout the past 16 years. As can be seen for the lockout button in the account settings and privacy settings, Facebook has changed the location of some features from a first level to a second level view, decreasing their discoverability. Later on, Facebook implemented the privacy shortcuts in their privacy checkups as alternative roads for users to change the settings. In a second study, we wanted to learn more about people who are using Facebook and how they use it. We collected replies from 116 respondents, asking in a questionnaire about their motivation, their satisfaction, and their privacy concerns. With regards to the motivation, we found that people used to join Facebook to keep in touch with their family and friends. But today, this has shifted to Facebook's groups features and media consumption. As for satisfaction, we found that most people were satisfied with the time spent on Facebook. However, if asked, 63% of them find themselves on Facebook longer than they initially wanted to. Still, most people think that they do not spend too much time on Facebook. With respect to privacy concerns, we found an incongruence between people's concerns about Facebook's use of their personal data and their usage behavior. Here, we can see that 63% feel in control over the personal data that they share with Facebook. With regards to advertisement data, this is shifted to 70% feeling not in control over this kind of data. With the results of those two studies, following Gray et al.'s taxonomy, we can now describe at least two occurrences of interface interferences. With the lockout button in the privacy settings changing the location, Facebook has decreased their discoverability and thus their usage. While we found that 79% of our respondents never log out of Facebook, we further learned that 73% of our respondents are generally concerned about internet security. But for the most time, it was quite difficult to find dark patterns for Facebook, as they need to keep their audience entertained and satisfied. Thus, we introduce a new form of dark pattern, decision governing. By offering various options to set account-related settings, Facebook can navigate people's selection of the settings that they will choose. Furthermore, aesthetically more pleasing features that may yield better usability but an incomplete coverage, Facebook governs over the settings that their audience will change. As for conclusion, we presented the results of two studies. First, an empirical interface analysis, including an inspection walkthrough of Facebook. And second, a Facebook survey with 116 participants asking about their motivation, their satisfaction, and privacy concerns of Facebook. Dark patterns create interferences that allow Facebook to navigate their audience's decision-making without causing immediate harm. Governing, but never harming users makes it possible to keep users' general satisfaction with Facebook high. Thank you very much for listening. If you want to get in touch, find our contact details on this last slide. Until then, I wish you all the best.